You want to talk to the preacher, want to ask him something, you are more than welcome. I am glad to answer whatever questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
Are you guys making a film? Are you talking to individuals that are walking by? Or?
Well, what I want to do is talk with people, really.
Because you don't have any eye contact with anybody goes by, so I thought maybe you were just making a film.
You know, I'll take that into consideration. And
because I thought, I couldn't tell if you were actually trying.
No,
you just keep looking down, and when you're public speaking, it's really good to like look at people.
You're right. You're right.
And I'm not trying to criticize.
No, that's great advice. Actually, I just took a public speaking class, and I should have known that.
Well,
so that's my bad.
Well,
you know.
and I want to say too, I just think it's so much about relationships. I think it's so hard to show God's love by just talking to strangers. I feel like building up relationships with people is so much more important.
There is a here. Go ahead. You can
no, that's okay.
So see, there is a benefit to relationships for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what Christ did when He spoke with people and made relationships. I just think it's hard when you're on the street corner.
Well, this is it's a public forum, and obviously I don't know these people.
Yeah.
But what I would like to do is get to know these people.
Yeah.
See, the door has to be opened in some way. You know.
But do you think this is the? I mean, if God's calling you to do this, then I don't want to get in the middle of that because it just. I do art fairs. This is my booth, and a lot of times people are just out like talking. Now you're not screaming at people, but
I wouldn't do that.
But a lot of people do.
Well,
and
see,
I think we're just one-on-one building relationships is what it really is all about.
See, that's exactly what we're doing, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is.
I just think people don't pay any attention. You pay attention in this kind of a format.
Right. Well, the thing is, you're paying attention. So somebody does stop.
I'm already a believer.
Yeah, but people do stop.
And I am.
I do this quite often. You know.
Do you have positive results?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
People will stop and talk. And the public forum is a place, actually, for the gospel, for preaching, and for talking about Jesus. Whether everybody stops and listens, well, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But, if we want to be biblical, you can go back to Acts 2. The disciples stood up, preached the gospel, many believed, right?
Yes,
now, it depends on the forum. We live in a more secular world, right? So a lot of people aren't interested.
I think the world's always been secular, but anyhow.
It's a little more secular because, first century, these guys were Jews.
Yeah.
And it was the feast of Shavuot. It was Pentecost. So all these guys were there in religious observance, right? So they had a lot more ears. Today, people are here to look at art and listen to music.
Well, I think people are a lot more cynical towards religion today because Christians have given such a bad name to Christianity, unfortunately.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I am a believer, but it's sad that there's a more negative impact against believers at this point.
I wouldn't say that all Christians have. I would just say that...
Oh, no, certainly not all. But I think the ones that have the loudest voice are usually preaching anti-something. I mean, you're not. But,
I don't want to look like that. Cause
well, I don't either.
I know that when I condemn, I'm condemning myself,
Well, I got a log in my own eye. I can't work,
You got it.
Well, I've got to get back to work, but I was just curious as to whether you were... I said to my business partner, I said, now are they making a movie, or is he actually trying to talk to people?
No, I do want to talk to people, so thank you for that advice. I'll look at people.
And again, I never want to be critical of what God is telling somebody else to do, because I'm not going to get in the way of that. I know He told the prophets to do things that He did people in the Bible, led them to do things that were not average, normal. They were very...
Absolutely.
So I would never, as a believer, assume that someone is doing something they shouldn't, because... I just wouldn't assume that.
No, this is a great forum, and it's absolutely biblical.
I'm glad I'm glad if you're having positive results.
Right.
That's awesome.
Well, hopefully, with your advice, we can get more people to stop and talk to us.
You don't need. If you've got God on your side, that's all. All right.
No, it was great advice. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, that was some good questions. If anybody else wants to. Hey, how you doing today, sir? If you have any questions for the preacher man, feel free to ask me. All right. You got anything?
What you guys doing on it?
Just reading the book of Revelation. That's what we're doing. Yeah, looking for people to talk to and see if anybody out here got any questions about God. That's the Virgin Mary, right?
Okay.
That's like the Reaper or something.
It's the Holy Ghost.
Oh. I didn't know that there was a picture.
God created her, so God created that. Didn't He?
Actually, well, that's a good question. How about this?
Didn't he create it or not?
Well, let's look at it this way. God created man, and what we did is we kind of took advantage of what was given to us. See, God said, I'm going to put you in this garden, right? You can have anything in here except for that one tree right there. Right? You stay away from that, right? So, Adam and Eve had these commands, right? Now, this serpent comes up and says, hey, what's your name? Yeah.
That's Angel.
Angel? He said, hey, Angel, you could be like God if you just eat of that tree. Because listen, he was lying to you when he said you shouldn't eat that tree. Really, you should eat that tree, right? You should eat the fruit off that's good. So Eve, being foolish, said, that sounds good, I want to be like God, right? But God said, don't do that, right? All right. So did God create death? No, man, we brought it in. We brought it in by being foolish. Just the same way, when we break God's laws, we are judged rightly because we're law breakers. All right? All right, have a good one. All right, that was a question for me. You don't have a question? Or you just want to yell into the microphone?
I want to yell in the microphone.
There you go, go ahead.
Where's the speaker?
It's behind you.
Camera? It's in this part.
Okay, so are you girls Christians, by the way?
Yes. You talk right here, you talk all the way.
Well, we can't go into the festival because what they've done is they privatized the festival and made it to where it's, you know, like private property. So you have to have a permit or something, and we couldn't get it. So we can be here.
Can you take a picture of me
We
now?
probably can go down this, but you know, I really don't want to push our luck. Besides, all we're trying to do is just talk about this, and hopefully people will stop and talk about us, you know? So what's your name anyways? Christine. My name is Bo. It's good to meet you, Christine. Are you a Christian, or do you have any questions or anything?
Take a picture.
No? Can you tell me what it is to be saved? How do you know you're saved?
How do I know I'm saved?
Yeah.
I've been baptized and I believe in the Lord.
It's close. Okay, there's a couple things. Well, first, do you know what you need to be saved from?
All my sins.
No? All right, sins. That's a good start. You guys know what sin is?
Yeah, the devil.
Kind of. The devil's actually a
Bad
being.
decisions.
Sins are breaking God's laws, right? Which are bad decisions, really, yeah. But there's a purpose and a meaning to it. So, say for instance, have you ever lied, Christine?
Yeah,
I have too.
I'm sure I wouldn't.
You ever stole anything?
Yeah.
Okay. You ever taken the Lord's name in vain, like GD, JC, that kind of thing? I can't even do it, but it happens, right? Okay. So I got bad news for you guys, right? You're liars, thieves, and you're blasphemers before God, right? Like if somebody gets drunk and drives a car, they go to jail for it, you know? Because there's a law that says you can't drink and drive. There's a law that says you can't lie, you can't steal, you can't use his name in vain. When you break those things, there's a penalty, right? Now there's only two options, heaven or hell, right? So if you were judged according to that standard, being a liar, thief, and a blasphemer, which one do you rightly deserve? Heaven? Why? Alright, let's do this. Let's take it to court, okay? You're standing before a judge, right? And you're like, these are the laws. You can't lie, you can't steal, you can't blaspheme. And you're like, well, I did those things, but, I mean, you're a just judge, so, you know, and I want to go home, so just let me go home. And he's like, listen, you broke my law, 1, 2, and 3. There's a sentence against you, and you're guilty, all right? You only get hell.
Okay, so I don't want to die now.
No, wait a minute, there's good news. There's good news with it, okay? So that's the bad news, that we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And it's the truth, because there's not a person here who hasn't lied, or at least blasphemed or something once in their life, right? So here's the deal. Jesus Christ walked the earth, right? He kept all the law, all of it. He was like perfect before God, right? Then in the law it says that blood atones for sin. You got to have blood, you got to have a sacrifice, and it says to be put on a tree is to be under the curse of God, right? So Jesus kept the laws. He was put on a tree. He suffered the curse of God for us, shed his blood for the remission of sin, right? For the atonement of sin. So because he shed his blood, we can come to God, receive his spirit, be given power to walk according to how Jesus showed us, right? You know that you're saved when your life's changed. You love God with everything you are. All of a sudden, you're like Abraham. You'll give up your kids for him. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, this right here becomes like treasure, right? You read it and you're like, man, I really want to know what this means. When God's speaking in the man changes. Or woman, you know. And if those things haven't happened, earnestly seek him out. And I promise you, he'll come and tell you. You know, he'll come and teach you. But it's really important that you have one of these available. Get it to you. Do you have a Bible? Do you?
I got a teenage Bible, so I always get it.
Okay.
Let's go, we gotta meet up with her mom.
Let me give you this right here. Just a second. Hey, this isn't a Bible, but it has some good information that may help you with, you know, maybe some trouble. Just answer questions. Okay. And Christina, right? It was really good to meet you. God bless you. You too.
Where is it going?
How you guys doing today?
Side box.
You guys have any questions or anything before I get started? All right. Okay. Verse